Hey y'all, so this is a new video and we're just going to be going over some games that I played today where I ended up falling into a better or equal position and then losing them immediately. So let's get into the game. My opponent starts off the game with e4, I play c6, very natural. My opponent plays d4 and I play d5, the Caro Kann, takes, this is obviously a line. Bishop d3, I play knight to c6, c3, knight f6, and bishop here, and I decided to go with this interesting move g6, which is kind of interesting because I don't really play this way mostly. Most of my games that I play, I end up playing this move bishop g4, just quickly targeting the queen and saying that if f3 is played, it's actually a weakness, and I'll simply reroute my bishop here, trade it off with this light squared bishop, and have some pressure later in the game. But I decided not to do this time around. I just wanted to play something a little unique, a little different, so I ended up playing the move g6, and my opponent goes knight d2, I play bishop g7, knight gf3, I castle, and I decided to switch up my plan. And since I've never played this before, I decided to go for e5, because it seemed like a natural plan, and I didn't think that this IQP, even if, let's say, I was able to trade off this pawn, I don't think this IQP was actually that big of an issue. My opponent plays rook e1, and I decided to go for this very interesting move, knight back to d7, basically just saying, well, now you can't stop this. If you put a knight here, this is actually just not very good. Like here, you probably have to take back with the pawn, and then d4 comes, and I mean, after c4, I can understand you can argue this is a weakness, but I've pretty much equalized at that point, and I thought that that was actually better for me. Instead, my opponent goes queen to e2. And I already know that I'm doing pretty well here. So I play e5. I mean, after takes, he doesn't really have the manpower because the queen is leading the defense instead of the rook. So after takes, and bishop takes, I decided here to recapture with the bishop. That was very natural. That was very, very natural. Recapturing with the bishop makes a lot of sense here. Basically, the reason being is that I'm just threatening this, and a lot of the time when you have a choice to recapture with either a piece that attacks the queen immediately or the king or whatever, or a piece that doesn't and like threatens the attack, it is normally better, in my experience, it's normally better to take with a piece that doesn't directly threaten and instead threatens a different sort of way of winning the piece. And my opponent immediately blunders with the move f4. And like I said, I'm just winning now. Bishop d4. And you might say, well, all right, after all of this, okay, well, you look like you're doing pretty good, right? You got your bishop, you got a queen for a knight and a rook, which is normally a winning advantage, but I mean, it's obvious you don't convert this. How does this go so wrong? And so I play bishop g4. Okay, I needed to develop my light squared bishop. I develop a tempo. My opponent goes here, and I immediately play a bad move. I play f6 because I thought that it would make some sense to bring my king to f7. But the issue with this move is that it opens up the seventh rank for my opponent's rooks, and that actually becomes a huge problem later on and goes to the reason why I lost the game. F6 I thought was very natural. My opponent goes back. I go king f7, which was kind of my idea of f6. My opponent goes here, doubling up, ready to get in, and I play a horrendous move. I think that if I didn't play this move, I would have won this game. I would have won this game if I had not played this move. And in reality, it's not the worst move in the world. There's blunders later on that directly lose the game. But this move is, I think, just god awful and a move that I wish that I could take back. I play queen d7. And this move sucks. The reason why is very obvious. Basically, I'm just taking away retreating squares from my bishop. And I don't have to do that. The best move here is a no-brainer. Oh, queen d7 is bad, but you want to bring your rook in the game. Let's play queen d6. And the idea is that I'm going to play bishop here, I'm going to play rook here, I'm going to trade off a rook, easy win, the game is over. But silly me, I decide queen d7 is better, and my opponent immediately misses the move. H3 is simply winning. H3 is simply quite a good move. Basically, if my opponent plays, that'd be lucky. If my opponent plays H3, I go here. Takes, I probably have to recapture with the queen and allow, keep mouse sleeping, allow this, and this is not what I want. Like here, I can take on F4. My opponent can probably even go rook E7, and after, let's say, after, let's say, takes, king here, this, F5, I'm just reading off engine lines right now, it's not really calculation. This is really dangerous for black, and my opponent's always threatening like perpetual check, like after takes, this could be a problem. It's not right now, but you just have to be really careful, and I do not play it correctly. And my opponent doesn't play H3, my opponent plays knight B3, and the best move is again to play queen d6. Actually, just admit that you are wrong and play queen d6 and say, okay, well, now the knight is coming here, there's nothing I can do about that, but it's actually not that good there. Like after queen here, let's say knight c5, b6, if the knight decides to stick around, queen c7, and the knight is actually trapped, which would be quite nice. It's not all fun and games, because I do have to go for some interesting lines. Like the best move here, bishop c8, a little tough to play, but either way, the knight is trapped, easy win. I was scared of it, and I played the second best move. I played b6, very natural, just taking away the knight squares. Now h3, back takes, and I decided to take with the queen. Basically just saying that I didn't see anything for my opponent after I recaptured, after the check, but I'm wrong. And GF5 is actually the best way to keep an advantage. This is a little hard to play, but I can see why. Basically, I'm just saying that the queen really needs to keep defending the king, and now my rook can get involved in the game along the c file. That would have been very nice. However, I took back with the queen. Another mistake. The high-level engine actually gives it literally equal, but it is a mistake in my eyes because it does allow this check, and I thought king b8 and I'd be fine. I mean king g8 and I'd be fine. But my opponent plays rook c7. He's trying to bring the other rook to the party. I take this pawn, which I thought was natural. Not the best move. The best move is actually unfindable here. In my opinion, the best move is g5. I guess this is findable, but after takes, rook here, basically the idea is this, and you're just stopping all the perpetuals, but that's really hard to play, and I just didn't see that at all. So I played this, my opponent comes back. I played queen h6. This is actually the best move, despite what the little engine tells you. This is the top engine line at depth 22. Yes, this top engine line is at 22. My opponent comes back. If I capture the knight, it's actually just a draw. Like, let me show you. This is just perpetual check. I cannot escape. So I'm not going to do that. I play a5. Technically the best move. Basically just arbitrarily taking some space over there. And you might say, well, aren't you supposed to throw this game? I thought this whole video was about you like completely messing up positions that you obviously were able to win. And well, we'll get to that. And my opponent goes knight f1. Very interesting move, trying to come here and here. And I miss a move here. I have to play f5, which is pretty natural. Basically just saying that after this move, he's not actually attacking both this and this because he can't go here. Let's say f5. After this move, he's not threatening to come to g4 because simply the pawn defense. So I can play queen h4. Okay. Yeah. Rook f8 is the other best move. Everything else is a draw. If I play rook d8, and I'm actually like very slightly better, but it's probably just a draw. Okay. Either way, I ended up playing this move b5, so I thought it was very interesting. The idea is an interesting idea. The idea is that I want to bring my rook around like this. I was being way too creative this game, and that's not a thing that I can do. And after knight e3 is attacks everything, I play queen g5, and I lose the game. And I lose the game completely. The last chance is f5, sacking the pawn. And then I have to play queen h4, attacking this pawn. And then, I mean, knight f4. There's some crazy stuff here. I actually, here this is just a draw. Here this is just a very simple draw. There's nothing my opponent can do. And if he trades down to an endgame, I mean, I'm just better. If I run this way, he's just gonna follow me with this rook. He's not gonna move this rook, so I'm not gonna be able to use my queen to fend off the checks, and that would just be a draw. But after queen g5, I just completely missed knight g4, and I'm actually like losing here because I play h5. And I thought that the knight had to go back, but I'm just an idiot. I'm just an idiot. And my opponent has this check, and now the knight comes in, and now I'm lost. Now this is just lost. I'm forced to take back with the queen. If I go here with my king, this is just easy checkmate, so I can't do that. I'm forced to sack my queen, and then in this position, I end up just resigning because what am I supposed to do? I asked myself, what am I doing here? I'm down a rook and he's gonna win on my pawns. Like, what am I even playing for? And I just resigned the game. And what was obnoxious is that earlier in the game he actually offered me a draw. I didn't take it, of course, because I thought I was winning, and I was, but in retrospect maybe that was the best option. So let's get into the next game that illustrates even more why I am a big idiot. Now, in this game, I started with the white pieces, and I was playing against someone lower rated than me, and I thought, okay, well, let's get a win versus a lower rated player, so then we can get back into form, and we can start playing against higher rated players again. So I play d4, I go Trompowsky, my opponent goes h6, I take on f6, takes, and I play e4. An interesting style of things. I could have played e3, I could have played c4, but I decided to immediately go with e4. It's fine. Just a different style of playing. Here, knight f3, castles, c4. That was very natural. Gives me this check here, and my opponent plays this move, which I already thought was a little worse for black. And I was right, but not in the right way. I thought that my opponent, I thought the issue for my opponent was that he didn't have that much development, and I had a decent amount of center space, but the issue for white here, and the reason why this isn't like much better for white, is because white's king is still stuck in the center. And after I played the move a3, it really shows. Takes. My opponent goes here, a mistake. He has to go rook e8, and in this position, like after this, for example, d5, and in this position, we're actually doing pretty bad. I just lose the pawn here. I'm unable to recapture with the knight, so I have to recapture with the pawn. And my opponent goes knight c6. He's just going to win the pawn. I have to castle, and I'm just down a pawn in this line. But my opponent doesn't see it, and instead plays d5 immediately. A mistake. I take back with the c pawn. It takes, and I go e5, which I thought was pretty natural. Again, basically just saying that after fe knight e, which happened in the game, my opponent doesn't really have anything, and after rook e8, I would just play bishop e2. He doesn't have this move because my knight can just simply drop back to d3. I have these squares, and I should be okay. I'm going to castle. I thought my position was fine. But it is actually a bad move due to the move knight d7. Only move. Here, bishop takes d7, and my opponent just argues that I'm worse here because this pawn is just a massive weakness. Like here, let's say I defend it, rook fe8, I'm unable to castle now, and I'm actually just lost. So this position is actually much worse for white, but my opponent ends up playing the move knight c6. I moved my knight back because I thought, well, I don't want to trade and take away his weakness on d5 because I thought I was still playing for a win. I don't want to trade and take away his weakness on d5. That would just make the game boring and dry. And my opponent goes here, a miss. Actually, queen g5 is the best move. Just arguing that he's threatening this move, and let's say I play g3. bishop g4 comes, and this position is actually pretty bad for white. It's kind of obvious why. Like, I can't really move my queen out of the way because then I just lose. After bishop e2, let me just show you. I rook a8 check, and this is just pitiful. I probably have to sack my queen here, and I mean, there's nothing I can do. I'm just completely lost. But luckily my opponent doesn't find that. My opponent goes queen a5. I go queen d2. Bishop here, I didn't really think was a very good move, so I play bishop e2. I'm just going to castle, and I thought, in all likelihood, I'm probably equal. Speaking of which, I thought I had to play queen d2 because he was threatening knight here. Technically, knight b4 is fine, and this position is quite decent for white. Again, whatever. Queen d2, bishop here, bishop e2, and my opponent plays move rook ac8. Obviously trying to put some pressure onto my weak c pawn. So I play knight b4, and I realize, okay, I might not be in an equal or better position. I might actually just be worse here, and so I'm forcing my opponent basically to trade. He doesn't, which is a little strange. If he traded, I thought, okay, well, I would take back with this pawn. Don't want to hang my rook here, which is undefended. Let's say my opponent goes back to d8. I mean, I castle. This position is probably okay. I do allow rook c2, but at the end of the day, I probably have some move, like, yeah, queen f4 the computer gives, and yeah, position is likely heading towards a draw, with me being on the back foot. But my opponent plays knight e7, and I was equalizing here. I castle. My opponent goes queen d8. I defend my rook. I go rook ac. I mean, defend my pawn. I go rook ac1. Pawn back, knight back. I mean, my position, I've fully equalized now, and I thought, okay, well, my position is doing quite well. I'm able to put my knight here, but then again, I was still reeling from my loss, and there was a lot of issues with my mindset. And so after queen d6, I defended the pawn. I went queen b2, and here I was like, okay, well, he's defending his b7 pawn, right? Everything's natural. And then I'm like, you know what? What if I'm missing something? What if I'm missing something stupid? I haven't been playing well today. A lot of my tactics haven't been that good. I'm probably missing something really, really easy that I will beat myself up on later. So I wanted to make sure that I wasn't missing something. But in my stupidity, I play this nightmarishly bad move, bishop f3. After 40 seconds, I play bishop f3, just hanging my knight. As you can see, I'm not informed today. This is not a good position. I'd say probably slightly better for black. Slightly better, maybe just like maybe a minus 0.4 at most. Yeah, probably like that. Yeah. Yeah, I am a remarkable idiot. I go here. I just play a couple more moves just to make sure that I don't that I might have a chance of winning, because there is still competition. Here I go here, attacking the rook. Some stuff happens. I decide to sack my pawn to get in with my queen, make some counterplay, but my opponent is quick on the rebound. Queen f6. I bring my bishop back. I go here. I win this pawn, but after this move, I'm actually just easily losing. He's actually about to promote. I just completely miss all of his ideas. Takes here, and I mean, I can resign here, but I give a check and then I resign. This game, I don't even know what to say. This is just stupid, ridiculous. I'm thoroughly disappointed with myself today. I haven't like hung a piece like that in ages, and yeah, I'm just really mad at myself. Game review was very kind. Yeah, it gave me it gave me an 80% accuracy for some reason, even though I hung a piece in one move. And yeah. Anyway, that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys found that entertaining. Remember to like, subscribe, do all the normal things YouTubers tell you to do, and yeah, good evening and good night.